All right. So we about to get into this good old read once again. So I feel the presence of two people. Okay. It's coming off as masculine. So I'm just trying to do my animation film. And I've got these two people like talking shit, in my ear. So we're going to do a reading. What are the messages? What are the messages for whomever may concern? What are the messages for these two individuals? Give us the messages. What are the messages? Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune in the position of the Crown. It's a miracle, isn't it? Okay, change is coming. It's crazy, right? Because the moment when I got tired of the shit talking, I said, you know what? We're just gonna do a reading. So when I turned on my phone, it was 555. 555. With a coinky dink. So you know that things are about to change. Okay, so the portal has opened up. So there's a spirit guide that's coming in, and there may be one that's leaving. You have the Chariot in reverse. You have the Seven of Wands. You have the Eight of Swords. You have the Ace of Swords in reverse. You have the Three of Swords in reverse. And you have the King of Cup in reverse. Reversals are the past. There is no projection. Okay, so we're left with the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Oh my goodness. Can you say uptight? What's wrong? I wasn't even supposed to do the tarot. Whatever. It's already done now. So let's do your oracle. Obviously, your belief system is not serving you. Okay? So it's time to free the mind. Free your mind. And open yourself up to whatever is coming in, because it's coming in. I just feel like so angry in my head. I feel angry. It feels like racism. Okay? I think everybody knows by now that I'm not racist. So what's wrong? Okay, so you got changes in reverse. You got feminine energy in reverse. Stripping the illusion. Okay? So your reversals, there's something here that has to do with a woman. Okay, so I told you the Wheel of Fortune is change. Then I saw the 555. Okay, so I mean, what is this? That you have feminine energy. So this has to do with a woman. Okay. So, just because things didn't go accordingly with one type of woman, it doesn't mean that all women are that way. Okay. So I mean, what's up? Are you feeling discriminate against your own people, or was this woman a different ethnicity and now you're feeling discriminate against that ethnicity? Okay. So with stripping through the illusions, what you are not aware of, but it is about to surface, is that you see past the many layers of things, right? So this is a lotus flower. There are many layers to a lotus before it opens up completely. So the thing is that just pump the brakes and stop being so judgmental. It's really, you have like a critical nature, it's giving me very critical, very opinionated, very judgmental, so there's something here too about sexuality. Okay, so it feels like maybe I don't know why I pick up, if this woman was a different ethnicity than you, then it's kind of like she chose a different ethnicity. It's not her own, and it's not your ethnicity. So now you're feeling some type of way. Okay. Um, let me see. What else am I picking up here? But I feel like when it comes to your own ethnicity, you don't really like dating within your own ethnicity. Okay? Um, let me see. It always has something to do with a woman, doesn't it? Because I do. It feels like anger. It feels like war. It feels like uptightness. I just feel like, brother, you need to get laid and you need to get fucked out of your mind, honestly. Because I feel like a lot of things that's on your mind, a lot of things that you're telling yourself you have issues with and about, you can overlook these things. This is not who you are. It's just your thought process. It's like your head. Everything is in your head. You need some type of detox. I picked up sexuality. Yeah, you need to get laid. And if you can't get laid, I mean, I don't understand how you wouldn't be able to, because pussy is so easy nowadays. You can take care of your own needs. You can take care of your own self. You know, I don't. I know a lot of men don't like toys, but they do have man toys out here. And a lot of men, it's kind of like, well, I don't, I want the real thing. I don't want anything fake. I don't, blah, 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 blah. So it's not about that. It's about you taking care of your own needs instead of depending on somebody else to do it. Because obviously, there's not always going to be somebody else around. Personally, I think that it's very sexy to watch a man please himself, you know. Um, but you may need to get more into yourself instead of your sexual preference. Okay. Um, you are a lover. You're a lover, but I think that you're not being loved on. So, you know, um, you may try to say, you may try to take it out on women, like your anger, like you don't have any issues. You have a certain belief system that's not serving you. And I mean, you need to get fucked. Whatever illusions, well, my thing is that you're gonna pierce through the illusions, so it doesn't matter. One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'll get you. I'll get you. I... We're gonna get to your higher intuition. So you have under the radar. It's time for you to hermit. This is kind of like retreat. I think that you're too focused on other things. It's kind of like you need to pull it back to you. You need to bring it back to yourself, because it's kind of like, let's say that you're looking around, maybe you're surfing around on the internet, and you notice that it's kind of like you have a negative opinion about everybody or everything in which that you see around you or on the internet when you're scrolling. That's not who you are, right? So you have to take time out to study your thoughts. Like, hey, why is it everything I see I have something negative to say, or I'm being critical, or like over analyzing everything? It's like the mind is mad because you have a certain belief. Okay, so my thing is that I just really pick up that you're stressed, and I pick up that you are stressed because you need sex. Okay. My thing is that, so I do pick up that you are a man, right? Some men are so arrogant. I'm not saying that that's you. But sometimes a man will hold back and he will be disciplined with women because, sometimes women can lose their mind over having sex with a man. It's kind of like there's a specific woman, type of woman that you want to deal with. My thing is, just make it easier for yourself and just go to the strip club. Just go to the strip club, go to an escort or something. Because it's kind of like, you're very passionate. You're a very passionate person. And I mean, I think that you're very good at what you do in the bedroom. So you have a tendency to cause or bring a lot of issues to yourself when it comes to women. But the thing is that, you may not be really ready for a relationship. Then on top of that, you don't want to have to deal with her feelings and her emotions, and if she's going to act crazy, this is that. And then you don't want to be responsible for hurting somebody else's feelings. So my thing is, you need to hire somebody. Okay? It's a good arrangement because when you pay, you cut the attachment. Well, you have to pay to play. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to be honest and real with yourself, and you need to take care of your needs. If you're not willing to do it for yourself, well, then you're going to have to put that money out. My thing is, why can't you go somewhere like, why can't you go to like a club and find a girl, or maybe some type of escort service? Why can't you meet a girl? You know what I'm saying? And then anytime you want to hook up with her, you just hook up with her. When I used to be a dancer, when I was a stripper, um, I had a situation with a man. Okay, so the thing is that this man, he was going through a divorce. Okay, so I picked up that you may be tall. It's funny because the guy, well, it's not funny, but the guy that I was dealing with, he was tall. He was a black man. I was working in an all white strip club. So a lot of my client, it was predominantly white men that would come in there. It was random that a black man would come up in there, because that was kind of like for the snow bunnies. So a lot of my clientele consisted of, the white guys that fantasize about being with a black woman and all that type of stuff. So one day, this black guy walks in there and, I see him, but I don't really pay him any mind because I'm just like, well, he knows this is a white club. So I know that he's coming here for the white girls, right? So he comes over to me immediately. He says, oh, nope, gotcha. Bet you thought I was going for the white girls. Okay. So I was like, yeah, I did. So, we started talking, we got to know each other. He was a little apprehensive, he had left, but when he left, he couldn't get me off of his mind. So he ended up coming back an hour later. When he came back an hour later, he says, well, I really don't want to spend any money in here on you. He says, I prefer to take you out and do things differently. So, I had to get to know him a little bit more. And I'm just like, well, um, well, who are you? What are you? So, I mean, he was very well known. He actually knew a lot of politicians, so he was a high grade man. So, I'm just like, and then, he's a black guy, but he's very smart, very intelligent, very successful, so he does kind of talk like a white guy a little bit, but, there were certain periods and point in times to where, um, the hood would come out of him. So, we established something on the outside of the club, to where he would send an Uber for me, and the Uber would take me to the restaurant to where he was. He would always take me to nice restaurants. We would go to new places. He loved showing me things, doing things with me that I had never experienced or seen before. We would, get really nice hotel rooms and all that type of stuff. He was a really nice guy, no phones and all this type of stuff. So, um, he was because he was a very classy man, a very important man, I mean, this is when I was doing coke real heavy. So, I didn't even know he did coke, but because of what he was going through, he was going through his divorce and all that type of stuff. And then they had children, you know, it was, uh what was I about to say? It was more so like he was more so paying for me to comfort him and get him through, that time, to where he was um going through his divorce. And of course, I'm young. I wasn't really young. I was probably like 30, 32. No, I probably was like 30, right? So I mean, I don't know anything about being married. I don't know anything about his type of man and his life, his lifestyle. So we kind of used to go through some misunderstandings. So one day, I was at the river and I hadn't heard from him in a while, but he was really going through it. So he actually had the coke on him. So we went to the river, did a little coke, and he decided to open up and take me to his house. So he lived in a very nice part of the city. He took me to his house. Oh, his house was beautiful. It was beautiful. So, of course, I'm just like, take me on a tour. So I'm walking around and he's, venting to me about certain things about his wife and what used to be and how they used to do things and all this type of stuff. And before he took me to his home, whenever we encountered each other, I could always tell he was holding back sexually. My thing is that you were a married man for a very long time. You don't do no fucking, you're a love maker, but you're trying to fuck me and it's not working for you. Then on top of that, I mean, the cocaine, we would get kind of we would experiment with the cocaine, because I heard that, I mean, if you put it up your butt or your vagina, you get high faster. So, I tried that, but that was a bad idea because it absolutely numbed my genitals. I couldn't feel anything. so, so, I'm just like, brother, cut the shit and just open up. Because, I mean, obviously you need it. I'm here. You're paying me, I mean, you are a nice guy. You are a guy that I would definitely want to get into, but at the same time, I really don't like the holding back aspect of things. So, once he showed me a tour around his house, I saw pictures of him and his wife, and he just looked so happy. I just felt so bad 'cause I'm just like, he's so happy. He just looks so happy. But one thing, when it comes to men, men be tripping because y'all act so brokenhearted when the woman leave you, but you've been a dickhead the whole fucking marriage. And the woman is sitting up there trying to figure out, well, where did all these emotions come from? Where did all of these feelings come from? Because when we were together, he wasn't giving me any of this. He wasn't showing me any of this. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I could tell he needed a little bit of a boost with getting out there once again, right? And when I say getting out there, I'm talking about like having the confidence and the courage to date again. So when he took me to his home, I used that opportunity to open him up. Okay? He was ready to open up, right? Because he had planned something very romantic to where, he had the candlelights, he had a nice big ass bathroom, he had a jacuzzi tub. So, he did the bubbles, the bath, the candles, so then he starts licking on my feet and all that type of stuff. And I was just like, all right now, he's ready to open. And the thing is that, we had a lot of issues with me orgasming because, I mean, we was doing the coke. Okay. So we left the coke out of it this time around. And, once we got out of the tub, he takes me to the bed and voila, you know, um, y- you know, he made me come multiple times. So this is what I'm saying. It's kind of like, I understand that he doesn't know me, right? But if you're going to make the decision to step out there, then you need to make the decision to step out there because that was the type of confident boost that he needed. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, did him and his wife have issues in the bedroom? Like, was that an issue or something? I kind of think that it was. Um, you know, uh, Intuitively, that's what I picked up. But of course, we never talked about it. But I mean, after that, it seemed like the work was done. It seemed like that was what he needed me for. He needed to know that he can please a woman and that a woman would be open and receptive towards him, and he doesn't have to be so sad about getting out here in a dating world. He doesn't have to be so pessimistic. You know, the sex is a really big confident boost, I think, for men. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I kind of pick up there's something like that going on. I understand that it can be very challenging, if you separate from somebody having to get back out there. One thing that I appreciated about that guy is that he wasn't looking for anything. He was more so of looking for some type of validation for himself, but he wasn't looking for me to be similar to his wife. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he was judging me and his judgments were incorrect, but I mean, it's kind of like I felt like he allowed me to be me because, I didn't want him to know that I did coke because I mean, I didn't think that he did that stuff. He was into real estate. A lot of his friends, like I said, were politicians of the city, mayors and all that type of stuff. So I'm just like, oh God, I'm gonna have to be on my best behavior. I really don't understand what he wants from me, but but when I mean, he was really going through some stuff. You know what I mean? And then it came out, he was a very smart child. And I mean, he grew up in the hood. So um he used to get joked and teased a lot because he aimed to be smart. He was a smart guy. He was a smart little boy and he wanted to be smart. So there were a lot of challenges that he has had, within his life. And I mean, all of his friends were white, so it just kind of triggered him, him and his wife getting a divorce. It really just triggered him so bad. It triggered many other things within him. And he was struggling a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you, once we had that moment, once we had that night, I mean, that was it. It's kind of like when we met up again, maybe about a year later, it wasn't there. It was more so of like, nigga, why you just didn't call me and just ask me how I was doing? Because that's all that he wanted. It's kind of like he wanted to thank me and just to see how I was doing. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like he thought that he had to bribe me with money and taking me out to eat, only to tell me, he didn't want to, he didn't want to have sex. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I don't understand. Did he just need a friend or something? Like, was he just in the city or whatever? And I asked him, and he didn't say anything. He just kind of shrugged his shoulders. I said, our work here is already done. Like, let go. You know, you're going to be okay with getting back out there and dating. I bet you didn't think that you would find this type of healing or you would find this type of breakthrough by dealing with a stripper, right? Because, of course, people look down on strippers. People don't respect strippers, but, they asses be in that club, you know. I had a good time, like, really getting to know, like, men in the strip club. Because men that come, they're definitely looking for something. They're looking for something that they don't even understand why they're looking for it or what they're looking for. I'm talking about the ones who go consistent, because you have some individuals to where they go, all the time. They're married, they are looking for some type of thrill within their lives. The wives are at home and, they're fat and privileged, it's like not fun anymore. They got the kids. So to find some type of escape, relief, or vitality, they go to the strip club and they're there like all the time. And they tell their wives, oh, I'm going to the bar. You know, yeah, you choose to go to the bar where you see titties and ass. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for something. It's crazy because, I was already like 30 when I started dancing. So, my body wasn't in the best shape. So, I had to make my money by talking. Okay. I had to talk my way into them pockets, baby. And that shit worked. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't be no acrobat on that pole. I had to use what God gave me, and that's the brain, honey. But it's amazing because, a lot of the men, I mean, they had some stories. A man lost his child. Another man was mourning the absence of the mother he never knew. It was so deep. It was so deep, and it was just like so dark in there. And it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know, but I did the best that I could. Of course, every man didn't require, sex. Like when I was a dancer, that guy was the only man that I tricked with. I didn't trick with any other men. I knew that guy was something special about him. I mean, he was very respectful towards me to where, a lot of the men they're not respectful and then they're so fucking awkward, and then they're not very nice, so is that it, dear? Have we said enough? I believe we've said enough. Okay. So, open up your mind. Take a chance. You never know what you will find if you feel guided, because with the Wheel of Fortune card here, things are about to change. You are about to have an experience or experiences, and you're going to be guided. You're going to be guided to where you need to go. So if you feel a strange pull somewhere or to a specific person, like maybe you should open yourself up. I mean, you're protected, you're good. Like, you can't be scary. Like, you absolutely can't, because it's not just about you. You need some help. So your help is being sent to help guide you to what you need. Okay? Like, no, you can't use one woman to get over another, but you can have an experience that will help you look forward to the future. Okay? Just have fun. Just gotta have some fun. You know what I'm saying? And just trust. Okay? So until the next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.